Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll start with this. The latest developments in Ryan Garcia's ongoing anti-doping fiasco and how I spoke a little bit too soon yesterday. I thought that Ryan managed to exonerate himself, clear his name, and he didn't. According to Jake Donovan, Ryan Garcia's legal team released another statement claiming supplement contamination per test results from SMRTL, contamination reportedly found in NutraBio, Supercarb, and Body Health Perfect Amino.
I thought he cleared his name.
But veteran boxing scribe Jake Donovan said it's worth noting both products that were sent to the lab for testing were opened, sealed only with tape for shipping. The standard for testing supplements normally calls for sealed samples from the same lot number. So because what Ryan and his legal team sent out wasn't sealed, it hampers their credibility.
An uninformed Twitter user that goes by the name Jay said they weren't sealed because he submitted the supplements that he was using.
To which Ryan responded, this part, I have to open the supplements to take them, and Ryan is either dumb or playing dumb. Neither would surprise me.
Isn't he making a valid point?
What, that Ryan would have to open the supplements to use them? Yeah, he would, but that's not the protocol. The protocol is you're supposed to send supplements in their original packaging, sealed, from the same batch, the same lot number, to establish culpability on the manufacturer's end. That once those supplements are opened and thereby tested, if they test positive for Osterin, that proves cross-contamination.
On the manufacturer's end.
This is why it took Dillian White so long to come back. This is what he had to do. He had to prove that the banned substance they found in his system came from the manufacturer, that it was due to something that wasn't listed on the label, and that took a really long time, whereas this is moving a lot quicker, likely because they didn't follow the protocol. Memo Heredia weighed in saying, for supplement analysis to have any validity in any doping hearing, the samples had to be closed and new, with 2 or 3 bottles sent from the same batch, same lot numbers, Ryan allegedly consumed. And never send open or unsealed supplements for obvious reasons of credibility issues and validity. If what you send out is already opened, you could have contaminated it yourself to bolster your story's credibility.
That's why it needs to be closed.
It needs to be sealed, and it needs to be from the same batch you allege you used, which is why it needs to have the same lot number.
Otherwise, could be deemed inadmissible.
Memo Heredia continued, Supercarb by NutraBio, this supplement, is made and elaborated on GMP FDA inspected facility. If this is true, it is impossible for a supplement to contain an illegal ingredient and banned substance in the United States. Now maybe in an underground lab, yeah, that's highly possible. This is getting interesting.
So Ryan's not in the clear.
Not even with the hair follicle test or sending the supplements out and having them tested, he's not in the clear.
No.
In the midst of all of this, I got my wires crossed. I got a little bit confused. I thought of Dillian White's anti-doping case and how he established cross-contamination, and that was enough to clear him in the UK. This situation is taking place in the US, more specifically under the auspices of the New York State Athletic Commission. And the New York State Athletic Commission says The commission's policy is one of strict liability. The combatant is responsible for anything that he or she puts into their body. If the combatant takes supplements and later tests positive, it is the combatant's responsibility. The combatant should be aware that the supplement industry is poorly regulated, and studies have shown that some supplements are contaminated with steroids. If a prohibited substance is detected in the combatant's sample, even if it was unintentional, it will result in a violation of New York State athletic rules.
New York State Athletic Commission rules purport to provide the athlete a right to a fair hearing in case of a positive test or adverse analytical finding. The burden is on the athlete to come forward with evidence that rebutes the presumption of doping.
And Ryan hasn't done that. Not if what you sent out to be tested was already opened. The chain of custody.
Yeah, you could have poured something in there yourself to bolster your story's credibility.
That's why what you send out is supposed to be closed, to establish culpability on the manufacturer's end. Former champion Ishai Smith weighed in saying, "No vindication to me. Received the bottles open. That's like VADA testing someone's piss that isn't sealed. There is so much to this story. Geesh, we need to get to the bottom of everything."
And we haven't. We didn't yesterday. I spoke too soon, far too soon, as the story was developing. When I uploaded that video, I didn't realize he sent open samples to be tested.
I got a little bit confused, likening Ryan's situation to Dillian's, where even if he actually had followed the chain of custody to the T, which he didn't,
That still wouldn't have cleared him.
and he still might get suspended. It's just a question of for how long.
Then why are so many people going along with this?
Because they're closeted homosexuals who want to have sex with Ryan and they're just standing by their man. Why do you think they get so defensive about this?
Ryan is innocent.
Veteran manager Rick Merrigan responded to all of this by saying the public is just brain dead with drug testing procedures and protocols. They believe anything pushed out. Both samples test positive and you're getting a fine, suspended, or both. Period. It don't matter how it got in your body. It's your responsibility what goes in. Twitter user that goes by the name Bradley said these are the facts. If you go back to previous trials and situations, the whole batch has to be tested and proven to be consistent with the bottles that Garcia has taken.
That's the protocol.
That's how it's done. But it's very obvious to me that what Ryan has been doing is playing on the ignorance of the boxing community at large and playing to the court of public opinion.
Because it's easier to win a battle there.
Make it look good, make it sound good, and that'll be enough with no burden of proof.
The hair follicle test wasn't proof that he's innocent?
Said it a million times. No, it's not, because you test negative in a hair follicle test doesn't mean you throw out the urinalysis. The hair follicle test don't overrule it.
Sorry.
Veteran boxing scribe Mike Copinger said the only question that remains is whether or not Garcia purposely ingested pads. They are in his system, so he's going to be disciplined. Strict liability with anti-doping for any commission that actually follows the rules. And the New York State Athletic Commission has a reputation for being one of the more strict and stringent commissions in the United States.
Yeah, but that's in the United States. In a very general sense, the United States has a revolving door policy when it comes to banned substances. I say it all the time.
What are you saying?
What I've been saying. I expect that Ryan will get suspended, but it won't be for very long.
Ryan's legal rep, Paul Green, has declared that they are now hoping to agree on a ban of 4 months or less for Garcia's positive drug tests after stating that 2 supplements Garcia listed on his VADA doping protocol forms have proved to be contaminated with ostarine. We understand Ryan's going to get some sanction, but we feel like, given this evidence, now it should be a light sanction.
So they expect to get suspended.
Yes, and I did too up until yesterday, and I got my wires crossed. I was expecting that the New York State Athletic Commission will likely suspend Ryan for something like 6 months, and he'll be back before you know it, on the same, more or less the same schedule he was already on before all this got started, because a 6-month suspension in the sport of boxing,
That's nothing.
the average span of time in between fights these days could be anywhere in between 6 months to a year. So if you get suspended for 6 months, it's like you didn't get suspended at all, because that's the average span of time in between fights.
Not many, if any, high-profile fighters in this era fight more than once in a 6-month span.
Expert on the matter Victor Conte weighed in saying Ryan Garcia tested positive twice 2024, Osterin reported May 1st, 2024. About May 15th, 2 of his products were sent for testing. Both were positive for Osterin. Seems to be no receipts or chain of custody, and both containers had broken seals. In my opinion, these are not credible or admissible. Ryan Garcia's team can obtain credible supplement test results, locate the same lot number for both the suspected products, and have them shipped directly to the lab sealed. If products are positive for Osterin for both products, then you will have chain of custody and admissible test results. But why did Ryan Garcia test powders from unsealed containers without chain of custody? In my opinion, it seems possible that tampering may be involved. Strange that 2 products both tested positive for Osterin. This isn't how credible science is conducted. These results cannot be authenticated.
Wait a minute. I thought we were supposed to ignore what Victor Conte says.
You know, because he's supposed to be part of the conspiracy plot against Ryan Garcia. Supposed to be behind this with the Haney's. Wasn't that story a little over a week ago? So that a little over a week later, no, it was the supplements.
Oh, it was the supplements now. It wasn't Victor.
So how many of you roadside scholars, you Google experts, went along with Ryan Garcia's version of the story, that it was Victor and the Haney's, they set him up? How many of you went along with that until the story changed into this? How many?
And how many of you are now going along with this?
How many that you don't even realize how fucking stupid you look or how fucking stupid you sound, going along with whatever Ryan says just because he's the one that said it.
Just suck his fucking dick already.
Just do it. Those of you out there asserting Ryan's innocence, not knowing the ball from the bounce, and what content creators are willing to propagate his version of events, only his version, no matter how many times it changes.
Ryan's lawyer said.
Ryan's lawyer gets paid to defend him, you fucking moron. What do you expect him to say? So quite a few guys trying to gloat yesterday in the comments of my previous video as if it was all said and done and Ryan was vindicated. Apparently not. Apparently, he might still get suspended, and he's not in the clear.
Are you going to acknowledge that or pretend you didn't hear any of this?
The area of focus for me is not even whether or not Ryan is innocent or guilty. Looks pretty guilty to me, pretty much.
It's a finite matter.
And it's not Devin Haney or what was his unbeaten record and ensuring that the loss gets overturned. I don't care. I don't care that much.
No?
No, the area of focus for me is how this is the misinformation era, and it's so easy these days to get people to believe most any nonsensical thing so long as it looks good and it sounds good.
Well, I almost fell for it yesterday. I thought he was in the clear.
Perhaps in the court of public opinion to some people, some, though not all, as Ryan's character has not been so upstanding throughout that it's outside the realm of possibility that he was cheating. What, that he wouldn't break a rule? He wouldn't do that.
How do you know?
He's not into breaking rules, is he? Well, didn't he break a rule when he came in 3 pounds over? He didn't care about that, so what makes you think he'd care about this?
He wouldn't.
Guy who's willing to come in 3 pounds over, deliberately, is a guy who's looking for a competitive edge. Kinda like a guy who might use a banned substance for a competitive edge.
Very simple.
So when they find that in your system, I'm supposed to be surprised. I'm supposed to question everything. I'm supposed to question Victor Conte and Vada and the Haney's, just for you to turn around and try to blame it on the supplements after you tried to blame it on them.
You're scrambling.
Stories all over the place. I thought it was because he shadowboxed for Donald Trump.
Lizard people.
Looks guilty to me. You know, the only one that was exonerated yesterday was Victor Conte.
What?
You know that, right? That if anybody's name was cleared as a result of this latest revelation, it wasn't actually Ryan's, it was Victor's. Since Ryan is the one that's been telling you that Victor was behind all of this, that somehow Victor got up with the Haney's and they're the ones behind all of this. I mean, that's what you guys have been going along with for at least 2 to 3 weeks now for no reason other than Ryan Garcia told you to. Well, if Ryan Garcia's defense is now that the supplements is where it came from, didn't come from Victor.
He's sorry.
He's innocent. He would have to be if that is the defense that Ryan's legal team has resorted to. So how many of you Google scholars out there uploaded videos
Blaming Victor.
How many of you people,
You.
how many of you sheeple went along with that narrative because some content creators chose to monetize this controversy by siding with Ryan, knowing that idiots like you were looking for a pretty story, a prettier, nicer version of events that makes Ryan out to be the victim and Devin out to be the villain?
What do you think? Ryan really donated millions of dollars to Gaza?
Huh?
You think he's really combating child trafficking?
I mean, you believe this. You really believe this, that you're making him out to be this hero, this champion.
You can't be this stupid.
Or maybe you can. Or maybe you don't actually care if he's innocent. In your mind, he might be guilty. But because he beat Devin, that's good enough for you. That's all it's about.
Then why is it so important to them that Ryan at least appear innocent?
They don't want Ryan's victory over Devin to have an asterisk next to it. By now, if you're a boxing fan, you've seen plenty of cases just like this one. And you know how doping in the sport is treated and how fighters are viewed once they fall into that bracket, that category. They don't want that to be Ryan because they want to be able to lord this victory over Devin and over Devin's fans. So maybe they're willing to go along with Ryan's story, not even because they believe it, but because they want to keep trolling Devin.
There's a lot of people that really don't like Devin.
Some of them, they're Ryan Garcia fans. They want Ryan to punch him in the brown. Others, these are Gervonta Davis fans who want a victory over Devin by proxy. They tell themselves, well, Gervonta beat Ryan, and Ryan beat Devin, so it's like Gervonta beat Devin.
Why do you think Gervonta has been asserting Ryan Garcia's innocence throughout all of this? Why would he go up to bat for that guy? Why?
Me and you are caught in the middle of these feuding factions of fans who are just looking for a way to troll Devin Haney, Devin's fans, and his father.
Caught in the crossfire.
Especially these days, boxing fans, in a very general sense, stray into conversations and worlds they don't otherwise belong in, but due to a tenuous association with the sport, they find themselves discussing matters they're not well versed in. That's how you end up with a bunch of guys who can't read above the 9th grade level, fancying themselves biochemists in this situation because their favorite fighter is involved.
Well, excuse me, Dr. Pepper.
Comedy of it all. Those who can't distinguish an ottoman from an automatopoeia think they can read the research on the subject and tell you what's what.
Tell you what.
The biggest takeaway for me is not that doping in the sport is widespread, because I already knew that, or that there's a lot of people that really want to see Devin Haney fail. I knew that too.
It's not it.
And Devin's got his own problems, by the way, whether they turn over the loss or they don't turn over the loss, they don't rule it a no contest. He's got his own problems because I'm not even sure that kid can make 140. Healthy, fighting fit.
Match fit.
His stock took a hit. Peds or no peds. You know, I never liked his chances against Subriel Matias. I always felt that stylistically, that fight would be a nightmare for Devin.
Losing to Ryan the way that he did in some ways confirms that Devin just can't take a good shot. And if you throw enough at him,
He'll go out. But he can't crack an egg, can't take a shot, can't make the weight healthy, and he might need to go to 147, though if he does, the guys are a lot bigger up there and they punch harder.
he's got his own problems.
But this is not about Devin, not for me. What grabs my attention the most about this story is the emotional response from some.
The ones who defend Ryan.
There's a social commentary in there about how stupid the average American boxing fan is, that you would go along with whatever he says, no matter what he says and no matter how it changes, for no reason other than he's the one that said it.
And that might be good enough for you, but you actually expect it to be good enough for everybody else.
So, like, you retarded or something?
you delayed?
Stuck in traffic? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Just suck his fucking dick already.
Because that's what it is. You're attracted to the guy, so you give him a pass, like an abused wife might stand by her man. You're standing by yours.
Culero.